4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is
Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Please stand by.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. You're in time for a wonderful lesson. My name is Gabe.
And I'm Anne-Marie. Hey, Gabe, when you hear the word astrotourism, what do you think of?
I think of the Star Wars movies, or perhaps Star Trek. I think of people touring the stars and galaxies of our universe.
Yeah, that's definitely what it sounds like, right? Well, friends, if you thought the same thing, think again. We are going to find out what this term actually means today in a lesson called Astrotourism.
That's right. Well, if it doesn't mean actually touring the universe in a spaceship, do you have any other guesses? See if your guess is right. Compare your idea with what we read in our lesson right now. Today is a great day to learn something new.
Let's do that together.
Astrotourism. Travel to a place where you can see the stars. Few sights are as awe-inspiring as the night sky full of stars. But you can't get a good view of the stars from just anywhere. Buildings, trees, and especially light pollution can obscure your view of the stars. That's why increasing numbers of people are participating in astrotourism, traveling to destinations where they can focus on viewing stars, planets, eclipses, and other space-related phenomena. Dark Sky Parks. The nonprofit organization International Dark Sky Association identifies parks where the sky is dark enough to give a good view of stars and planets.
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 我们先来看 awe-inspiring 这个复合形容词，意思呢是令人惊叹的、叹为观止的。例如 This summer, Natalie and her friends are planning to hike the awe-inspiring Grand Teton Mountains. 今年夏天 ，Natalie 和她的朋友计划去攀登令人叹为观止的大提顿山，或者是 Angkor Wat is considered one of the most awe-inspiring ancient sites in the world. 吴哥窟是全世界公认最令人惊叹的古代遗址之一。Awe-inspiring 也有令人钦佩的意思，譬如 Callie's work to provide housing, food, and medical help to the homeless in her town during the typhoon was awe-inspiring. Callie 在台风期间为镇上游民提供食宿和医疗协助，这样的工作真是令人钦佩。接着我们来看 phenomena 这个名词，它是 phenomenon 的复数形式，意思是现象。譬如 The construction of the pyramids in ancient Egypt is considered one of the world's most exotic phenomena. 古埃及金字塔的建造是世界公认最奇特的奇迹之一。或者 War and crime are not new phenomena. 战争和犯罪并非新鲜事。再举个例句 One wonders if we will ever be able to understand the phenomena of the heavens. 有人纳闷，我们到底能不能理解天堂的现象？ All right, let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you very much, Jack, for that awe-inspiring language lab. And now we have an awe-inspiring lesson just for you, because space is awe-inspiring. And we're talking about astrotourism, which is, of course, not traveling in space, but finding different places around the world where you can see the night sky clearly.
That's right. Our deck says right here, travel to a place where you can see the stars. Few sights are as awe-inspiring as the night sky full of stars. Have you ever felt awe-inspired by the night sky, friends? I know I have, especially on a very, very clear night when you can name the constellations or even see planets. It really makes you think about how big the universe is and how small you are.
Exactly. Do you know a lot about the night sky, the different names of the constellations out there? Constellations, that is the groups of stars or the star formations in the sky. Orion is one that I know. It might be the most famous one. I don't really know a lot about that, but perhaps you do, and you can talk about it in English. Now, we're talking about the awe-inspiring night sky, and if you're going to go and look out at the stars, there's a special name for this, especially if you really enjoy doing this. You might be a stargazer. You are stargazing.
That's right. A stargazer is someone who specifically is going to look at stars. So maybe they're traveling somewhere or even just staying near their home and are spending time maybe lying on the ground or sitting in a chair and watching the stars. But there's a problem here.
What's up?
Well, the article is going to say in our next sentence here what the issue is. Do you want to read that?
Well, you can't get good view of the stars from just anywhere. We read buildings, trees, and especially light pollution can obscure your view of the stars. Okay, if your view is obscured, that means you can't see something very clearly, okay? So just like in this picture, I found a picture that had trees because sometimes trees do obscure your view. It might obscure your view of some stars in this photo. However, it looks like whoever took this shot found a great place to go stargazing because it seems like you can actually see the horizon of the Milky Way galaxy here. Anne-Marie, have you ever been in a place where you can kind of see the line, the horizon of our Milky Way galaxy?
I have actually, where I grew up in the States on a really, really dark night when there aren't too many people driving on the road near my house. I have been able to see the Milky Way before from my house.
It's awesome. I've only been in one or two places in my life that I can remember. One is, I think it was a place called Swallow Falls in Maryland. Anyway, friends, if you have not done this yet, you got to get out, leave your city and all the light pollution and other pollution, stop coughing, and go somewhere where you can go stargazing for real.
That's right, and that is why our article says that's why increasing numbers of people are participating in astrotourism, traveling to destinations where they can focus on viewing stars, planets, eclipses, and other space-related phenomena. You know, not everybody lives in a place where they can see stars. Maybe there is, like our lesson says, light pollution, or there might be too many things obscuring their view. So that is why astrotourism has started to gain popularity.
Yeah, it's a great idea, right? And you see a picture of an eclipse here. This is a solar eclipse where the moon is crossing the path directly in front of the sun, right? The path blocks your view of the sun. And sometimes there are partial eclipses, right, where only part of the sun is blocked. And the thing about eclipses is that you have to be in certain parts of the world to see a full solar eclipse, right? And the same thing goes with a lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is when you're looking at the moon, but part of the Earth's shadow is blocking the moon. That's a lunar eclipse.
Now there is a phrase here that I really like in this sentence, and that is space-related phenomena. It makes me think of a space-related phenomena I've seen before, and that is a meteor shower. Have you ever seen a meteor shower before?
I have, and every once in a while when there is a meteor shower coming up, people might say, oh, this night, maybe at 2 in the morning to 5 in the morning, you might be able to see a meteor shower. That's when lots of meteors or meteorites are coming into the Earth's atmosphere. We call those shooting stars when we see them.
That's right. All right, let's talk for a minute about dark sky parks. The nonprofit organization International Dark Sky Association identifies parks where the sky is dark enough to give a good view of stars and planets.
All right, now these places are giving a good view of stars and planets. The opposite, of course, is if you are an astrotourist, you're going there to get a good view of these things that are out of this world. What does that mean? Let's find out in today's Info Cloud.
Hello friends, welcome to InfoCloud. I know a lot of people watch the news every day. As a former news reporter, I often tell people to be careful when it comes to different things they see on TV news.
Oh, well, why is that?
Because with most news, there's more than meets the eye.
That is so interesting. Now, why don't you tell us what you mean by the expression, there's more than meets the eye?
Something that meets the eye refers to things that we see visually or on the surface. Something that is more than meets the eye describes things that we cannot see on the surface, but they are there.
Exactly. This expression can be used to refer to negative or positive things.
Oh, let me give you a perfect example. When my wife first met me, she thought I was really spoiled and immature. Well, after many years, she realized that
there's more to Rex than meets the eye. And after working with Rex for all these years, I can assure everyone that is true. Rex is a great teacher, a great singer, and a great husband and father.
很多事情都不像表面看起来那么简单。今天跟大家介绍的用语是 "There's more than meets the eye"。这是用来表达除了眼睛所看到的之外，还有一些我们看不到的真相和内容。例如 ，Don't just believe the news because there's more than meets the eye。不要完全相信新闻报道，因为还有更深入的真相。这个用语也可以正面的使用，像是 Peter looks immature, but there's more to him than meets the eye。Peter 看起来不太成熟，但是他比表面上看起来还要有内涵。这就是今天的 InfoCloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Oh, hello again, friends. Welcome back to Studio Classroom.
If you're just now joining us, we're learning about places around the world where you can get a good view of stars and planets.
They are places with little or no light pollution. Our lesson calls them dark sky parks.
How many dark sky parks are there around the world?
Well, let's continue the tour and find out.
Astrotourism. As of February 2020, the association had identified more than 130 such places, including some in Europe, Asia, and North America. Many of these parks hold talks on astronomy, night parties, and other star-related activities. Star Party in Nebraska. In north-central Nebraska, a week-long star party has been held annually for almost 30 years. Held at the Merritt Reservoir, the party features classes teaching beginners about astronomy, along with some programs especially for children. The party features challenges such as a photo contest. During the day, visitors can swim in the reservoir and go fishing and boating.
OK， 来看 astronomy 这个名词，意思是天文学。例如 ，Growing up, Ben enjoyed learning about stars and planets, so he decided to major in astronomy at university. Ben 从小到大都很喜欢学习与星球有关的事，所以呢，他决定在大学主修天文学。Astronomy 的副词是 astronomically， 意思是庞大的、极度的。例如 ，Housing prices in this area are astronomically high。这个地区的房价是天文数字。或者 Housing prices have gone up astronomically since the year 2000。从2000年起，房价就飙涨。最后，我们来看 reservoir 这个名词，意思是储水池或者蓄水池、水库。例如 ，Our city gets its water from the large reservoir outside of town。我们城市的水源来自城外的庞大水库。Reservoir 原来是指储存槽或是储藏库。譬如 ，The fields in northern China have large reservoirs of oil and gas under them。中国北方的田地底下有大型的油槽和瓦斯槽。Reservoir 也可以用来表示知识或是经历的储藏。譬如 ，When she was in danger，Miriam tapped her reservoir of strength and courage to save herself。Miriam 陷入危险的时候，她便善用过去储存下来的力量和勇气，救自己脱离险境。All right, let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you very much, Jack. You did a stellar job there in the language lab. Stellar, it means having to do with the stars, but it also means awesome.
What you did there.
You know, yeah, stellar job. Okay, let's continue, Anne-Marie.
All right, reading on here. As of February 2020, the association had identified more than 130 such places, including some in Europe, Asia, and North America. Let's take a look at a few things in that sentence here, friends. The first one we want to look at is the phrase as of.
That's right, as of. It could mean as late as this certain date or at the time of this date, right? We usually or often use this phrase as of when some research has been done and you've found some facts about something online, but you can't find a more recent date for something. And so you might refer back to this research that was, published in February 2020, and you say, as of February 2020, the association did this.
It kind of has the idea of at the time of. So for this research, at the time of February 2020 or up until February 2020, 130 such places had been identified.
That's right. Such places, the use of the word such here in this sentence, it tells us that it's talking about something that was mentioned earlier, okay? So in the previous sentence, we read that the Dark Sky Association identified parks where the sky is dark, so these such places is referring to those parks.
Many of these parks hold talks on astronomy, night parties, and other star-related activities. Okay, so it sounds like what's going on at these parks isn't just stargazing.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, it says that there are night parties, which maybe you do.
Woohoo!
Maybe you do stargazing at night parties in these parks or other star-related activities. So maybe people are getting together to discuss their hobby, which is stargazing, or maybe they're getting together to plan other events as well.
I don't know, Anne-Marie. I think they're getting together to have a really good time. We're learning about a star party here in Nebraska, right? In north central Nebraska, a week-long star party has been held annually for almost 30 years, okay? And you can have a great time with something like a telescope. Our lesson doesn't mention the word telescope, but it's very important when stargazing. Telescope, that is 望远镜, okay? And you might need a nice big one like this if you're going to go stargazing.
Well, friends, we have been talking about space all day. I think it's a great time for us to have our SC travel and visit space ourselves. Let's go.
A good idea.
Greetings, Earthlings! I'm your SC Travel host, David, and you're going to thank your lucky stars that you're traveling with me because today's episode will be out of this world. Literally! That's right, we are going to outer space and visiting 3 bright stars that make up the summer triangle. So, get in your spaceship and let's blast off for Vega in the Lyra constellation. A constellation is a group of stars that seems to make a shape in the night sky. Vega is the brightest star in the Lyra constellation, and it was the first star to be photographed by ancient stargazers. Not far from this superstar, you will find the breathtakingly beautiful Ring Nebula. Those colors are all gases that are shooting out of a dying star. Pretty stellar, huh? I mean star, stellar, never mind. Next, you can chow down on some of the astronaut food that you have on your spaceship and head over to the 19th brightest star in the night sky, Deneb, found in the Cygnus constellation. This star is much bigger, brighter, and hotter than our sun, so don't get too close. And if you can't take the heat, then you can cool off in the colorful, dusty clouds of the North American Nebula. The powerful light of Deneb causes these clouds of gas and dust to glow in different colors. How cool is that? Oh, since there's no gravity on your spaceship, your muscles might start getting weak. So run a few kilometers on your treadmill as we travel several light years to our final destination, Altair in the Aquila constellation. Keep your distance because this one is big, bright, and spinning with huge amounts of energy. And if you're in the mood for a little camping, some of the stars in this constellation have planets that you can explore. So bring your hiking boots, some hot dogs, plenty of drinking water, and a very sturdy spacesuit. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. But keep on reaching for the stars, my friends. Thanks for joining us here on SC Travel.
Thank you, David, for an SC Travel that was out of this world. Hey, speaking of, have you ever viewed the stars through a telescope before? Anne-Marie?
Yeah, I actually have. When I was young, my dad was really into finding constellations and looking at stars. And so we saved up money for a while to buy a telescope.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I remember when I was young looking through that telescope at the moon and just being amazed at all of the craters on the moon that you couldn't see with the naked eye. Oh. What about you, Gabe?
Well, you know, I don't remember having an actual telescope that we used to look at the night sky, one that you could buy anyway. But I do remember visiting different telescopes, famous telescopes. They're usually perched on the top of a hill or a mountain somewhere around the world. One in Southern California is called the Palomar Observatory. Okay, this observatory includes a telescope. The word observe kind of has the idea of observing something, right? Well, we're observing what's going on out in space. So I don't think we were allowed to look through the telescope ourselves.
But you saw the telescope.
As the public, we weren't allowed to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, the scientists were doing that and figuring out things about space that we know about more today. Anyway, you know, if people can't see the stars, we can always learn more about what's in space, right? If you're in Taipei, check out the Taipei Astronomical Museum. I heard it has the largest planetarium in all of Asia.
That's right. A planetarium is a large domed building where they project images of planets and stars on the ceiling. It's supposed to be educational, but it can also be a very thrilling experience.
That's right. Well, where else in the world can you get out and see actual stars clearly? We'll find out tomorrow, so be sure to come back right here to Studio Classroom.
At all times, a good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.